ask. Right?
그 작년 그 저기 정상회담 때,
Last year-
한미 정상회담 때 한국에서는 이러한 의견들이 있었습니다.
Last year during the G20 summit meeting in Korea, they had a lot of opinions.
미국이 경제 위기 이후에 아직도 경제 회복이 안 되고 있습니다.
The U.S. have admitted that. Well, no, a lot of Korean people saw the U.S. for not recovering from the economic shock that they went through. They didn't see a tremendous economic boost, or they haven't really recovered from it yet.
실업자가 1,500만 명이라고 들었고요.
Because we've heard that there are about 15 million unemployment. Is it 15 million?
Oh, it's probably
16. I think.
16.
Yeah, I read
And
yesterday.
that's just the ones they have.
그런 조건에서 의료보험, 그러니까 오바마 정부가 적극적으로 잘 밀어붙였던 의료보험도 제대로 이렇게 내용을 정말 노동자들 정말 민중들을 위한 그런 의료보험으로 만들지 못한 채 정리가 됐습니다.
And that is along with that, the Obama's healthcare plan, it was disastrous. It didn't really contain all the elements that he wanted to in the first place, and he took out all the options that he fought for in the beginning.
그런 조건에서 오바마 정부가 인기가 떨어지니까 이거를 타개하기 위해서 FTA를 활용하고 있다. 이런 얘기들이 있었습니다.
So a lot of Korean people believe that the Obama administration, because the Obama administration has lost a lot of popularity through the incomplete healthcare bill, he's trying to gain his popularity back through the FTA deal.
그게 사실인지 아닌지는 잘 모르겠지만요.
I don't really know if that's necessarily true or not.
이명박 정부, 한국에서 이명박 정부도 당선 이후에 한 해에 60만 개 일자리를 만들겠다고 했습니다.
The Lee administration has promised to the Korean people to create 600,000 jobs in Korea in his first year in office.
그러나 경제 위기 이후에 일자리가 줄었거든요. 만들어지지 않았습니다.
600,000 jobs were nowhere to be found, and in fact, we lost jobs in Korea.
비정규직 일자리가 더 증가를 했고요.
And more positions were converted into a non-contracted positions.
이러한 조건에서 FTA가 체결이 되면 5년 이내에 몇십만 개 일자리가 만들어질 거라고 국민들에게 말했습니다.
In situations like this, does it make sense that they will create more jobs through the FTA?
네, 국민들은 이렇게 요구합니다. 우리는 비정규직 일자리를 요구하는 것이 아니라고 얘기를 합니다.
The Korean people try to stress that they don't want non-contracted position. They want a secure job.
청년들도 얘기를 하는 거죠. 질 좋은 일자리를 달라고요.
So that's why a lot of college graduates and the young people are stepping in.
그렇기 때문에 저는 FTA가 일자리를 만들 것이다라고 하는 것에 대해서 그렇게 긍정적으로 생각하지 않습니다.
So I don't really believe in the FTAs, FTA implying that it will create more jobs. I don't really trust it.
I want just to give Jonathan an opportunity. I know Jonathan with Reclaim the Media has also sort of an interesting perspective and has been doing work on this FTA. So I'm just going to give you an opportunity to share perspective.
Well, thanks, Kristen. Thanks for hosting this event. With Reclaim the Media, we're concerned about the Korea-US FTA for a couple of reasons. One is that, as is often the case with trade agreements, it's not covered in the media as to such a degree that would allow people to really weigh the benefits and potential effects and harms of the agreement. So I think it's really fantastic to have media here today taking an interest as it nears to congressional debate probably next month in the U.S. The other reason is one small issue, or it's a big issue, within the framework of the agreement. One issue that I think I will talk about for a second that stands in for many other such things that are happening, and that's the issue of screen quotas and cultural diversity, which I'll just talk about briefly. Screen quotas is a shorthand term for a national film industry establishing quotas on how many films created in that country, how many endogenous films must be shown in order to protect a country from, in effect, dumping of products from other countries, mainly the U.S., who produce films here on a big scale, recover their investment in the U.S., and then can offer them overseas for a much reduced price, which is often such a lower price that it has a destabilizing effect on other nations' film industries. A very significant impact of that through NAFTA was Mexico. Mexico had a substantial screen quota, which gave support to a vibrant Mexican film industry. Before NAFTA, we saw about 100 films a year being produced as part of that industry. In the 10 years after NAFTA, that number dropped from 100 to just 4. A devastating impact on that film industry. In Korea, where there's also a vibrant film industry protected by a screen quota, the U.S. Actually used its political clout to force the Korean government to cut its screen quota in half as a precondition for even coming to the table to negotiate. And that was done without any, even the process that goes through in the negotiations was not followed there. And that screen quota was cut in half from, I think, 140. The numbers are not in my head, but it was cut in half in 2007. So we haven't actually seen the effects of that in the Korean film industry yet because of the time it takes to produce feature films. But I think that's a significant thing to look at, especially as Arthur noted, that this agreement is a trade agreement which is larger in scale than anything we've seen since NAFTA, and will certainly be used as the template for additional such agreements with other countries in Asia and elsewhere in the future.
To go just a little bit?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I really appreciate your coming. Thank you, and meeting all of you and seeing some of you again. And one thing I just think about is I think this is the first FTA that's come up since the global economic crisis, and this is something that was written in an old model, an old framework. And I think with the economic crisis, with the BP oil spill, with a lot of places where we've seen corporate accountability kind of going out the window, it's time to also re-examine the way that trade is done, the freedoms that corporations are given, and the lack of accountability that these kinds of agreements provide across the board. Happy to.